with us. Lieutenant General Narasimhan is also joining us, member National Security Advisory Board. As far as the Pangong Tso Lake area is concerned, India has maintained that they want status quo ante to be maintained. But, General, given the fact that Chinese have now suddenly claimed all of Galwan Valley, how do you see this progressing, the latest disengagement plan that has been devised by India and China?
The disengagement plans were discussed yesterday at the Lieutenant General level talks, and it was the talks that went on. I hear that it went on for a very, very long time, and both the sides seem to have given a statement to say that they would disengage, they want to cool the tempers, and the process will be taken further, and they have said that all the modalities have been discussed for all the points. So we'll have to now wait and see as to how this process gets implemented. And we hope that the disengagement process gets implemented smoothly. And even at Pangong Tso, the issue of the fingers of 4 and 8 gets resolved during this disengagement process.
So, General, what would be ideal for India here, especially if we talk about finger 4 and finger 8 areas?
It is not only we should look at specific locations like finger 4 or finger 8 or Galwan Valley or other places. I think what we need to look at as part of the disengagement process is that we need to get back to status quo ante as it was existing in the month of April before all these events started. So instead of looking at finger 4 or finger 8, Galwan Valley or other areas like Nakula, etc. Nakula, there's nobody there in any case in this territory of the LAC. So what we need to look at is to ensure that the status quo ante comes into place. And if that happens, the status, even in the finger areas of 4 and 8, we will go back to the same areas as it was existing before, and we will be able to patrol up to finger 8, and that process will get resolved.
Lieutenant General Narasimhan, I've actually been able to speak to some of my sources within the security apparatus to try and piece together what really transpired. Almost everyone does appear to indicate that this entire talk that took place on 22nd of June was successful, given the fact that there is a stage-wise disengagement that would take place, and this would include all the friction areas. Are you really optimistic, perhaps, if that the Chinese would essentially stick to this disengagement plan? Because given the fact that they too have changed their stance in this particular meeting that took place, they aren't at least as aggressive as they were on 6th of June.
That's a good question. What I would like to say is it's always good to be optimistic. That is number one. The other issue that comes up is, since they have committed to a process, and I have been maintaining even in my earlier interviews on TV and even in my writings, that we need to continue the process of resolving this peacefully through talks and engage with them so that the disengagement process gets completed properly. That is in the best interest of both the countries and both the armed forces. So I am hopeful that this disengagement process will go on, and I am sure at every point, like for example Galwan Valley or in the area of Pangong Tso, further process of disengagement will get discussed, how to implement this on ground, and I am sure over a period of time this is going to get implemented. I am hopeful, and I am very hopeful that this process will be successful.
Having said that, Lieutenant General, how do you read the fact that China did not honor the June 6 agreement? And even though India has maintained that they will continue to engage with China at all levels, and this new arrangement has been worked out, there are some outlandish claims that China has made meantime. So, when it comes to rationalizing the LAC with China, it's turning out to be quite a fruitless process, because instead of maintaining status quo, they are now claiming even more. So how do you see this being successful in the long run, given what China has done already?
There are, the issue that we need to look at is the first process is the disengagement process. And I know that the things went wrong on the 15th of June, and the Chinese have again come back to the talks, and they've agreed for another process. Let us give them a chance and then ensure that this disengagement process goes through properly. On the other issues, like on the larger issue of the boundary question, this is only what has happened yesterday in those talks is only resolution of what is presently going on. The boundary question is a larger complex question which needs to be dealt with differently at different levels. And you know that the special representative talks are going on this. 22 rounds have been held. That is a larger complex question. That is going to take a longer time. These processes that you have seen in yesterday's talks is mainly to disengage from what happened in the month of May and to get back to the locations which were existing before that. Larger question is going to be time consuming. It is going to take a lot of hard work, and it is going to be a little difficult kind of a proposition. We need to engage with them on this and then ensure that the agreements we have signed so far on maintaining peace and tranquility should be followed. If that is followed, then the process of the boundary question resolution will become that much more easier.
Lieutenant General Narasimhan, there is one thing that I would like to draw your attention to. This is what I have learned from my sources. That is, Chinese did actually reoccupy some of the areas that they had disengaged following the meeting that took place on 6th of June. That essentially is quite surprising. First, they disengaged after 6th of June, and when things went down south, they once again reoccupied. Given the fact that such things have already occurred, would that make the second phase of disengagement a little bit more difficult?
That's a good question. You see, what happens is, when the incident happened in Galwan Valley, I am sure Chinese didn't know how it was going. And so probably they would have reinforced those locations which had been there earlier. So with this process of disengagement having been discussed yesterday, I am very hopeful and I am clear that these places also will get disengaged and we will get back to the position that we were holding before these incidents happened. So we should not actually worry too much about that. That will happen automatically as part of the disengagement process that was discussed yesterday.
All right, Lieutenant General Narasimhan, finally, now in hindsight, if we believe that China, after coming back to the table, wants to now engage with this disengagement plan and actually follow it, in hindsight, what do you read in the fact that they did not follow the June 6 agreement? There are a lot of theories that are being put out by experts that it was just a way to test India or a way to, poke India. What do you read into this then?
You see, the 15th June incident is an aberration actually. After having agreed to a process, after having agreed for disengagement, if the thing that they did was incorrect, there is no doubts about that. But holding that as a ransom to the other process of disengagement and further peaceful process that is going to that is expected out of this will not be correct. So some aberration was there. Let us give them that and then look for a proper disengagement process to take place this time.
All right. So India is, of course, approaching this from an optimistic point of view. What has happened, and of course, there has been a learning lesson. But the disengagement talks have been worked out at the corps commander level, and India hopes that this time the disengagement will be followed by both sides. Thanks a lot, Lieutenant General Narasimhan and Shravan Sen, for joining.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.